And welcome back to a solemn edition of the Voices of the Voiceless podcast. It goes kind of like this, everyone. When the wrestling is so bad, we get more frustrated. So I don't know what you want us to tell you. I think it's, let's just say it's not our fault this time, and there's nothing we can do. There's literally nothing we can do. Brad, tell the people it's been terrible. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? There's one day a week where it's not so bad, right? Tuesdays. Tuesdays aren't bad.
Tuesdays are noticeably better.
Well, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you would as a wrestling fan, a WWE fan, you'd love for everything just to be like peachy keen and there's never a problem. But I guess that's pro wrestling in a nutshell. It's just as inconsistent as anyone could ever imagine. And what do you know? That's WWE in a nutshell. Any solutions? Do we have a team of scientists on hand to figure it out? Because I sure as fuck don't know what to do.
I think the only logical solution is to have Dixie buy WWE.
Well, I thought of that, and then, well, no, I thought of that. Like, what if Dixie bought it and then gives the reins over to, what she could do? She could buy it. She could give it to Hulk Hogan. Billy Corgan could even come in and clean house a little bit. Get rid of the dead weight there. I mean, shit, they don't actually need a headquarters. Stanford can turn into their tea shop warehouse. So I don't see a problem there. I think it's the smartest thing they could possibly do.
Yeah, I agree, brother. Let Dixie buy the whole show. I mean, if she's not going to have a company, she might as well, buy another one.
Well, we'll see. How much money does her dad have?
Oh, he's got a lot of money. He's got unlimited money.
Still.
Oh, he's still got a lot of money. He's just cut her off.
Okay. Well, hey, we gotta start somewhere, right? So yeah. This week will be shorter than usual for everyone at home. Going over their counting and then their figures, and you know what? Sorry, life gets in the way, and Mick Foley is not going to be there to bitch about it for you, even though that's kind of what he does. That kind of leads into our tweet of the week now, doesn't it?
It does.
Mick fucking Foley. So, Brad, I'm pretty sure you know, but you might have forgotten. Your life's pretty crazy. Do you know what our tweet of the week is about this week?
Well, it's about Mick Foley, and if you didn't like the ending to Cesaro and Sheamus Best of 7, apparently you're the problem.
Oh, okay. So let's get that. Let's put that in the forefront. It's all your fault, everyone. It's your fault. And they're telling you to deal with it. They're making Mick Foley, and I think it was all in his good conscience. It's all your fault. Period. So, Mick Foley, the morning after Clash of Champions, sends this tweet, and I quote, "Anyone claiming to be a wrestling fan complaining about the finish of Sheamus and Cesaro needs to take a moment to kiss my arse." All right. First impressions.
Well, my first impression is we don't have all day. I mean, that's a big ass.
Hey, he's been using DDP, Brad. He's lost about 80 pounds. You know that?
That's great. No, my first impression is that's total bullshit. I mean, this is the same guy who broke a TV because he didn't like the finish to a fucking Royal Rumble.
Yes, and that is where our tweet of the week comes in. I forgot the guy's username, so I forgive him. He should forgive me, but I'm going to forgive him for not making it more clear. He said, "Dude, you literally threw a TV because of the outcome of a WWE event. Calm down."
Man, I really, at this point, don't know where Foley's lips end and WWE's ass begins.
Well, see now he was never like this. He started to become their promotion, their self-promoting robot whenever he started to film Holy Foley. But even before then, he never did stuff like this. So what changed for the hardcore legend? Where did telling the truth start and being a fan and making us think the way we don't want to think and promoting the corporate idea begin? Because that's, I think, the dilemma in Foley's, mangled brain that he has.
Well, it began when he wanted a job, and they offered it, and he accepted.
I don't understand that. He is one of the most cheapest wrestlers of all time. He and Owen Hart had a bet one time. I'm sure you know this. He and Owen Hart had a bet one time to see who could make $20 last longer. And I think Owen Hart won. He made $20 last, I think, 3 weeks, 3 weeks to a month. And Foley lost.
They were hitchhiking with fans and random people to events. And it was apparently quite a sight.
Well, it's actually kind of cool. I like that story. I mean, anything with Owen Hart's pretty awesome. But why does he need? That's my problem. Why does he need more money? He has 4 kids. No, 4. There's 4. Noel, and then the 3, and then there's Shithead who thinks he's a writer, and then the 2 others, the 2 little ones.
And really 5 if you count that he's also supporting the clown.
Well, hey, we all saw in Holy Foley whenever he shut the door in his face. So, I think he likes the clown.
Yeah, I popped for that, but yeah, I think he's warmed up to the clown. I haven't, like many people.
Did you know that there was a clown that was that got arrested in Pennsylvania for killing somebody?
Yeah, there's actually some clowns that were coming out of the woods here in North and South Carolina. Like creepy clowns, like trying to lure in kids and stuff like that. I mean, it's probably Frank the Clown.
You think it was Frank the Clown?
I think it could have been. Let's check. Was the WWE on one of those tour loops in the Carolinas at the same time as these incidents?
Well, was the clown at the Raleigh show?
No, because I probably would have bullied him.
Is that the same show Baron Corbin jobbed to Kane? I'm kidding. We'll get to that.
No, I probably would have jumped in the ring if that happened.
All right, so yeah, Big Mark did not get us an agenda this week, so we're going to be flying off the seat of our pants here. And you know what?
I don't know how that's possible. I'm not wearing any pants.
Oh, you're not wearing? Well, good for you. At least one of us is. So yeah, we need to get hold of Big Mark. He can't miss another week. We need these agendas because we don't know what to talk about. Well, actually, we do know what to talk about. We can talk about how terrible everything is. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for positivity. And who better, and not stale positivity, because there's that too. We're here for real positivity, and we can get real positivity from D&I and Picho. And I think he's abiding and getting rid of the Hulk Hogan propaganda for just 1 week. I think so. I haven't listened to it yet, but Dean's ready to run in, and he's going to run in proud. Okay, so here's Dean giving us some of that positivity.
I was watching some of the horrible WCW programming.
Oh, good positivity.
The other day on the network, one where Brad will appreciate this. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. I forget who their third partner was. We're taking on Kevin Sullivan and a couple other guys, and Hogan was supposed to be handcuffed to the corner, but actually, and quite visibly with the camera right on them, had to help Miss Elizabeth get the handcuffs on him so that Ric Flair could whip him. And while WCW towards the end was an absolute shit show, it was still competition. I remember seeing when Vince McMahon came on the day that Nitro was bought, and they did the whole angle with Shane in Orlando and him really being the one to buy WCW. it was kind of exciting in a way as I was watching it originally, and I thought, wow, this could really be something, with McMahon owning WCW, and they could really do some great programming. And of course, we all now know that the invasion angle was horribly booked, and the major stars from WCW chose to take the payout and sit out. So it didn't end up being what was, I don't know how you say, best for business. Since then, ratings in wrestling have plummeted. I mean, the Monday Night Wars were the apex of competition, where both shows would be drawing 4s and 5s, and now you have the second worst rating on a Monday Night Raw. Normally, they're happy if they get a 2 or a 3. The golden age of wrestling may have passed, but part of it was major competition dying. And that ended up not being a good thing for wrestling. It allowed WWE to get lazy in their booking. It allowed them to get to where they are now, which is not a good thing for the fans. It's not a good thing for the product. It's not a good thing for the wrestlers. And now we might be facing it again. TNA has never been at the level of WWE. That was apparent early on when Jeff Jarrett formed it. And now there are rumors, and there's a ton of rumors, and who knows, by the time this podcast airs, maybe something will have been decided. But nothing could be worse than WWE buying TNA. So many wrestlers who burn bridges with WWE will be out of jobs, forced to the independent circuit. Who knows if they'll even continue the TNA product beyond anything more than a library that they put on the network or make a DVD out of. It will just allow them to use TNA footage in their Hall of Fame ceremonies. It would be tragic for the product to eliminate the closest thing to competition, which is TNA. Ring of Honor is out there as well. But TNA has the biggest following outside of NXT, probably. I always hoped that TNA would succeed. I don't know why they didn't. They had names. I just don't get why they couldn't latch on. But for WWE to buy them, don't wish for that. It's not a good thing for wrestling. I'm D9 Petro. That's the Weekly Run-In.
Wow, you know what? I could not have said that any better. I don't know about you, man, but wow. Poignant words from our own D9 Petro. Spitting the truth, guys. Spitting the cold, hard truth.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the competition piece, he's exactly right. I mean, whether it's wrestling or whether it's, Walmart destroying all of its competition or whatever, competition in the free markets, right? And I think that's when WWE has had to up their game when they've had competition. And also, they were worried, like they were going to be outdone, like the consumers, the customers were going to go elsewhere. So they were forced to raise their game, and it was an exciting time. Now they're in cruise control, and everybody knows it. But yeah, definitely agree. WWE buys it. I mean, it is what it is, but as far as the talent goes, it's not best for them because, it will probably be WWE maybe signing a few guys, and then everyone else is out of work, and then they'll just use the tape library. That's it. I mean, they have no desire for anything else. So, from the talent standpoint, that's a bad thing. But it's also delaying the inevitable, in my opinion. I think it's a brand that's dead on arrival. I think you can change the name. At this point, it won't matter. I think the brand is just dead. It's reached its max potential, which, like it or not, was when Vince Russo was writing the show. They had actually millions of viewers at that time. And I think 2 or so million.
Yeah.
For that brief time. I mean, that was their peak. So I think, if Billy Corgan buys it or, if WWE buys it, whoever, I think it's only delaying the inevitable is what I'm saying. If Billy buys it, what is he really buying? he's not buying something that's going to make money. There's no real sort of revenue coming in from Pop TV. The TV tapings are like 800,000 TV and whatever every time they do it. So it's just not a money-making venture, I guess. It would be a bad investment from a financial standpoint, and I think it's just, I guess that's my thoughts on it. But, I hope it does, but I don't think so.
It's actually kind of sad because it seemed that we had so much promise in not just the WWE at one point, because at one time, even after the mid-2000s happened and the Ruthless Aggression era, and when they really started to focus on not just the story behind it like the Attitude Era did, but the actual wrestling. And no, I'm not talking about some indie-rific flippity-doo bullshit like you always say, but the actual story inside the ring. And that's where I think it separates is the Attitude Era was about the story, right? I'm not talking the Golden Era. That's not relevant in this argument right now. But like within the last 20 years, right? You had the Attitude Era. Focused a lot on the story. And they did it very, very well because they had to compel viewers to come in week after week after week after week after week. Because
what they wrote was compelling TV. Yes,
and that's it. Because the mid to late 90s was the height of the TV daily drama, like the Guiding Light. Help me here. I know there's more I'm missing. You're married. You should know what they are.
All My Children, One Life to Live.
Yeah, General Hospital, maybe.
General Hospital. Yeah.
That was like the pinnacle of drama television during the day, right? Like when your grandma says, "Oh, I have to watch my stories today." That's what wrestling used to be. It used to be that awesome story every single night for 1 to 2 hours.
It was a male soap opera.
Yes, it's exactly what it was. And you know what? That moniker still exists today because it still should be that. That's what wrestling is. So then you move from the story-centric wrestling period to the in-ring storytelling. Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Triple H, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, and so many others. And in that early to mid-2000s period, in my opinion, that's when in-ring storytelling was the best by far. And it's not come close since. You've been watching wrestling longer than I have. You please correct me if I am wrong. So it was an evolution from the storytelling to the in-ring storytelling. And now people just want to see a 5-star match. The term 5-star match ruined wrestling, in my opinion, because in the back of people's fucking heads, whether they're smart or they're dumb as a rock, like Ryback, all you want to do is have people mark out. That's not the point of wrestling, or you call it fake fighting. That's why Cesaro isn't going to work. Until recently, that's why Dolph Ziggler didn't work. And I want your thoughts on that before we transition that topic of conversation to wrestling now, because the best storyline right now is the Miz and Dolph Ziggler, because it's more than just a 5-star match. It's everything.
You hit the nail on the head. You look at, the Attitude Era and, people complain, the wrestling wasn't always great. It was more of a simulated fight.
Yeah.
And it was more about an entire product that included not just in-ring work, everything, characters, stories. Everybody had a story, no matter how small or big. Evolving those characters, evolving those stories, creating compelling TV. So there's hooks. You have to see what's going to happen next week as it goes off the air. You have to see what's about to happen next as you go to commercial. It was just such a different time from a TV production standpoint and from a show standpoint. And, frankly, just a lot more entertaining as a TV show.
And then
people,
go ahead.
Like you say now, now it's this smart movement has really hurt the business. It's basically killing the business, and it's created a focus on in-ring match quality and nothing else. It's like, guys want to go out and they want to see two guys just have a good match, and they don't care if they hate each other, and they don't care if there's a personal issue, and frankly, they don't care if they have a character. It's just that is a niche market sort of product, and it shows with the ratings and attendance and everything else. And so they get what they ask for. They're catering essentially to the smart fan market more than ever before. And that's the majority of their fan base right now. And there seems to be no plan to venture out into the mass, appeal casual fan audience, but rather to bleed the smart fans dry, take all their money, double dip, triple dip, come back, take their money as much as possible with as much content as possible. Oh, it's such a weak time in the business. It's so weird because it's a great time and that there's so much talent right now and the in-ring work is really good, but at the same time, it's such a focus on that and nothing else that it's such a bad time for the business overall.
Ratings are down, and it's probably because that pro wrestling isn't as popular as it used to be. But I have to disagree because there is a lot more than there used to be. So it's a lot more diversified. And then again, World Wrestling Entertainment does not, and I repeat, does not give a fuck about anybody else. Imagine if a wrestling promotion came in, crushed it, got guys like Punk, got guys like Matt Hardy, guys to really like spearhead the future of what wrestling can be. WWE, without its global icon of a marketing machine, they wouldn't know what to do, and it's such a shame. Like Vince always said, you need competition, so he built competition. Yeah, great. It was good. Okay, it was a good idea. But deep down, he knew he was printing himself dollar bills and not setting up for the future. While you had guys like a Randy Orton, a Batista, a John Cena, and a Brock Lesnar to carry your company into the next era. Batista's gone. Orton's hurt more than he is there. Brock comes in once or twice and is losing his draw, his marketability.
I don't think he's a draw at all at this point. I mean, he couldn't even sell out a Chicago house show against Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's right.
In a rematch.
Exactly. So again, if wrestling isn't popular anymore, I mean, fine. But there are still millions of people subscribing to the WWE Network. I wonder how many of those millions. I think they're up. There might be up to 2 million by now, maybe at least close to it. Are all of those guys watching 3 hours of Monday Night Raw every single week? Fuck no, of course not. For the past 2 weeks, I go to a friend's house every week with another buddy of mine, and we watch Raw. It's like a little wrestling club. Like we have a good time. We order pizza or whatever. It's fun. It's good fun. Last 2 weeks in a row, I left before the main event started. Why? Because it's irrelevant. It is so irrelevant that I don't care. And every week, I mean, so let's talk Raw. Your thoughts on Raw? It's the worst it's been since R-Truth and John Cena were headlining Capital Punishment, and that was a dark period.
Yeah, I mean, the booking is so bad, even of their top guys, that you have to question if it's intentional at this point. It's just so bad. And what I mean is, WWE is clearly positioning themselves, or has positioned themselves, are the draw, not the superstars. The superstars are interchangeable. They're nothing more than replaceable parts that can be replaced because they don't really matter that much. And that's their philosophy now, is WWE is the draw. Everyone else is interchangeable. Get hot with that approach, like you did, for example, in the Attitude Era, or other areas where you had huge stars like Hulk Hogan. So it is what it is. The booking is atrocious, even of the top guys. It's almost like they really don't want them to get over, but so far, I thought Raw was a total shit show.
It was.
I've had a hard time watching it recently. I've been channel changing to other things, football, the debate. Yeah, I mean, it's not something I've really ever done, but I just find myself, I can't, it's just unbearable now. It's just so goddamn bad.
Yeah.
They're not even putting any effort into it. I mean, I am 100% sure, and I'm sure everybody thinks this, but I'm 100% sure that I could write a better Monday Night Raw than the one this week.
Okay, now saying that in short, what would you have done differently? Give me 2 or 3 examples, not the entire segment by segment.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was Raw was essentially a repeat of Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's one thing that I would not have done. It is they clearly threw in the towel because of football and the debates being on, and so they essentially gave you a repeat of Clash of Champions. I would not have done that show that night if you're not going to put any effort into it and just let the boys get some rest, because it's totally not worth anybody's time. So I wouldn't have done that, and you know, it's this best of 7 idea. I don't like it. I know some people like it. I get that. I'm not one of them. I didn't want to see this 7 times. I don't want to see them as a tag team. So I just think this is really stupid. I mean, the payoff on a pay-per-view turned out to be a no contest. I just think this is really stupid. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you would have to write this show, you would have to change almost everything from top to bottom.
Yeah, and here I'm going to
seriously.
Yeah. I have a couple examples, and I want to yell them out. So you have first match, Roman and Rusev for the title. Okay, remember when wrestling used to make sense? You'd build to a rematch, not get it the next fucking night. How do you deserve that rematch in 24 hours? You know, Rusev's going to have another title opportunity. Don't mix our words. At Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell. What's the point? He gets 2 title shots in 24 hours. What does that prove? Is Rusev going to get lucky and beat him the night after? No.
Well, it's exactly like you say, and then you're supposed to be excited about them facing each other for the 25th goddamn time on a pay-per-view, when you know they're just going to have a rematch the next night. I mean, there's going to be no excitement, no build to this match, no anticipation. No. Who cares?
Yeah. The main event, right? The segment leading up to it, Jericho again killed it. He's the only one that's doing well, and honestly, it's because he's coming up with his own shit. It isn't those pencil pushing douchebags in the back writing for him. He's writing his own material.
And when you're damn right he is, and he's taking their scripts and he's crumbling it up and throwing it in their fucking faces.
Yeah, because he can.
He's not right. He can. He's got that advantage over the other talent. But you know what? He's the most entertaining part of Raw. So It is what it is. I'm perfectly okay with it.
I'm not complaining, but you have Jericho doing his thing, and then Enzo and Cass come out. So let's back up. Enzo and Cass lose to the Shining Stars twice, right? No payoff to a pay-per-view match. They're off the card. They main event Raw the next night.
And where are the Shining Stars? Where have they been?
Yeah.
Probably selling timeshares in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. There's absolutely, and I'm not even thinking too hard with this. I'm not sitting down writing down like ideas and notes on a pad. I'm just coming up with these right now. There's no logic in anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The effort, the writing is so bad that you almost wonder if it's intentional, because it's just so easy to do a better job than they are.
Okay, here's another thing. Braun Strowman and Nia Jax. Where are they? They're off. They're on 2 weeks in a row. Off one, off back on one, off two. I think Nia and Alicia Fox told a good story at the pay-per-view and the pre-show. Why not build to something better with Nia, who can clearly take what she's given and work it with her character? Because she, of all people, would have a character. I mean, not even one of your top guys has a fucking character. So why not do something with Nia? Make her fight somebody better than fucking Alicia Fox. Give her Emma. See, I don't know about that, but where's Emma? Emma was a decent wrestler for them, decent character, on point, good heel. She's been cleared for 6 weeks. Haven't even talked to her at all. You know, why couldn't she come in? Where's Summer Rae?
I think Summer Rae's but they've had a chance. Maybe she was banged up, but they've had a chance to use her too.
Hey,
the point is, what you're saying is, they don't do a good job of using people and using them consistently. It's like Even when they do use people like Nia Jax, as you say, it's a start-stop. She goes and has a squash, and then she loses all momentum because you don't see her for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, Braun Strowman's the same way. And I hate the fucker. I like him because he's a clown, but like I hate the motherfucker. He's a waste of space. I'm sure he's a nice guy, don't get me wrong. Apparently he was amazing on the I think the Jericho podcast, but Sin Cara. Their match was a complete dumpster fire. 3 weeks later, they have a rematch. For what? Bragging rights?
With no build-up in between those 3 weeks.
Sasha and Charlotte. Sasha gets another title match next week because you're gonna bring in this hype for Los Angeles. All right, fine. If she wins,
can someone explain to me why is Sasha Banks a face? What about her character, what she does, makes her a baby face? She's cheered by the smarks, but what about her character makes her a likable baby face?
She was bossing Bailey around.
I mean, really, a lot of the stuff she does, to be honest, is heel mannerisms.
Yeah,
but she's loved by the smart crowd because of NXT.
Yeah,
but the thing that is amazing to me out of all of this is that they continue to job out Bailey. They have beat her way too much for someone who could be in their division for years to come. It's just incredible to me. And yes, she had a very boring squash match on Raw, but they've beat her consistently.
Yeah, 2 losses in 3 weeks?
They haven't protected her at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. You can get away with doing that to Sami Zayn. He's in the mid-card. Not someone you want to be a top person in your division.
Yeah, that's right. And that's another name you bring up, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, for all intents and purposes, has all of the makings of being an underdog, like Rey Mysterio with like a realistic expectation. I don't know how tall he is. Do you know how tall Sami Zayn is? 5'11". He's not that. He's taller than me. I'm 5'8".
He's a little under 6 foot, I believe.
Okay, so like not a bad height, right? He can talk on the mic when he's not given words up on a piece of paper to read before he goes out there, like every fucking moron in the back, thinking that that's a good idea. Because yes, they're public speakers. Zayn can talk. Zayn can wrestle. He doesn't even need to do like high flying flips every week to get a good reaction from the crowd. He's over. Not, as over as like a John Cena, but the guy can get a reaction. Proper writing makes him a believable guy that can work a good story in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's a natural underdog, white meat baby face. He's not championship material as far as, the world heavyweight title level, but he's intercontinental championship material, I would say. The U.S. are intercontinental title material. And you could absolutely, they had the momentum from his storyline with Kevin Owens, and they did nothing with it. And they just squandered him, and they just beat him consistently, and then they took him off TV. I've added a little more depth to his character because he needs it. And you know what? Continue to push him as this underdog, mid-card babyface, and who finally gets the big win. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Money in the Bank, come from behind victory and cashes it in and wins and holds it for like a month. If you would have built him up properly, that could have worked. That could have been huge. It could have been Mick Foley-esque if he had the chance to get over. Because let's be quite honest, Mick Foley's title win back was in '98, I believe. In '98 or '99 it was great. Okay, it was a good moment, feel good story for the guy that never won the big one. Right? It worked because they wrote it that way. Stone Cold did come in and help save the day, but Mick Foley took down the corporation, beat The Rock, and won the strap. Amazing. Why can't they do that again? Why can't they have that happen to somebody else like of that stature, of that personality? Sami Zayn has all the makings of a Mick Foley babyface type of a character who can actually wrestle. That's
because they're, why? I mean, they're hiring some East Podunk newspaper sports writer.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to write wrestling.
So let's take it. Do you have 5 wrestlers on that roster right now that if booked, who were booked and written the right way, this could be a tag team, a woman or a man, that could be over as fuck on a heel or a face level and actually, generate revenue, sell out shows, anything like that? Are there 5 people on there that you can name right now?
On Raw? I'm not sure if there's 5. I mean, look, I think Bayley should be the top face in the women's division. I think she has top girl potential, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
I think she should be the face of that women's division. And, of course, they're in love with Charlotte. But I think Bayley absolutely could be the right storytelling, which they're not doing. I think Roman Reigns could be over as a heel. They have... Guy, I mean, he's a bit overrated, but they really have booked him in a really terrible way, and they continue to force him down your throat and do all the wrong things. And he's a natural heel like the Usos to me. I would put the Usos with Roman Reigns, and they would be the Samoan dynasty, and they would be a heel faction.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that a lot.
So, there's things you can do. I mean, there are guys that are good. I just don't think at this point they're a level to where they can make a big difference, like Hogan, Austin, Rock, those guys. Now,
moving on, and that third hour is just atrocious. Before I even get to SmackDown, the New Day and the Club. I mean, Gallows, Anderson, guys, thank you for your 3 months. Get the hell out of here. You are literally wasting your time. And if you like that pocket pay, man, hey, good for you. But you are being...
I mean, I don't even know. It's like, this is just, if you're a Gallows and Anderson fan, this has just got to be a terrible thing for you to watch.
Yeah, they're going to give Sheamus and Cesaro a title shot after the Club has received 7 and lost all 7.
I'm convinced at this point that the New Day is just going to beat Demolition's record because Demolition is suing WWE as part of the concussion lawsuit, and they're bitter, so they're just going to break the record.
What? It's a fake record. Who cares?
Well, they obviously care because they're going to break it.
I guess so. I guess so. This is one last thing. The Cesaro Sheamus thing. This kind of stuff only works if it's your top guys. Like for Cena and Orton when they tagged and they were like feuding like crazy, it worked because it was so interesting. There was a story behind it. There was meaning. There was interest. Sheamus and Cesaro were 2 mid-card guys who fought 7 times and nobody won. Why should I care?
They have no charisma. They have no momentum. People generally don't like Sheamus. This was just a horrible pick, as I said before, for a best of 7. I mean, they totally could have made something great. They could have brought back the best of 7 and used 2 mid-card guys with momentum. Maybe a title scenario. Have it for the U.S. title and do a best of 7 with the U.S. title. The best of 7 is the U.S. champion. Something like that they absolutely could have done. I just thought this whole thing, the championship opportunity, the tag team ending, I just thought the whole thing is very lame. It has no momentum. Nobody really cares. Nobody's going to care, and I don't think they're going to win. So just doesn't really matter. They'll be back to doing nothing in a couple of months.
Yeah. So did you like Clash of Champions? We didn't even talk about that.
Well, there's a reason we didn't talk about it. I mean, what is there to really say?
Jericho.
It's like
you're right.
I felt like I was watching another Raw, a Raw on a Sunday night.
I laugh because it's so true. Sammy and Chris went over. You predicted. The Club lost again. Charlotte won again, beating Bayley for a second time. What else happened? The cruiserweights were given 8 minutes. Decent match.
I really like T.J. Perkins' entrance.
I do too.
I like his. I like his outfit. Yeah, I like his outfit, and I like his entrance with the dab and the video game.
Yeah.
Entrance music and graphics.
Cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And Kendrick is still a great worker. He knows how to tell a story in the ring. He's a good promo too. We found that out. So they're watering the cruiserweight division to shit and back. So don't expect anything great for a while. Kevin and Seth was all right. What? Yeah.
It's just so frustrating. It is so frustrating to me because they simply don't know how to book the cruiserweight division. Still, after all of these years, they've learned zero lessons. I just don't understand it. It's like, could you imagine in the UFC? Okay, first of all, what they do right now in WWE is these guys get purple lighting, a purple title that looks like it's a woman's toy belt from Toys R Us, and purple ropes when they wrestle.
Why do they change the ropes? That doesn't make any sense.
Dude, this is a disaster. This is not something your average fan wants to watch. So that's what they're doing. Now, could you imagine doing that for a 200-pounder in UFC? Just because they weigh under 205, they're a light heavyweight. And it's like, okay, so the light heavyweights are not as good as the heavyweights, and we're going to rub it in your face and let you know that. It's just the whole thing. It's supposed to be a simulated fight, people, and and let's let these guys have a match and let's show that they're stars, just like the heavyweights. Only they're wrestling guys who are in their weight class. Mm-hmm. It's really not a hard concept. They're just stuck in their box. These are the small little flippity doos, and we're going to give them their little different segment, and so they stand out, good or bad, and we're going to give them 10 minutes and whatever, and then move on to the next thing. I mean, we're going to put them in tag matches and four-way matches like we did with the divas, the women, when we didn't care about them and called them divas, though they really don't care about them now. But you know what I mean? I mean, it's they've totally just fucking botched this.
They did. They certainly did. And then now we go to SmackDown, which is above and beyond so much better than Raw. I look forward to SmackDown every single week. I think Raw is now a burden. I don't view it as something I can look forward to every week. But hey, SmackDown Live.
Well, and you know what? No one's looking forward to it. And I was going to say, before we get into SmackDown, I'm sorry, I'm not excited by Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. I thought their match was all right. It wasn't like fantastic. And the feud doesn't excite me. They won't pull the trigger on Seth as a babyface. I mean, he's a tweener.
Yep.
Should have already made him a babyface when he returned. It was a natural thing, and they totally fucked that up. And it's with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is not a draw as a champion. I mean, he's not a world champion material type of guy to me. And it's just, there's no momentum to it. I mean, there's no story. Triple H has disappeared.
And Stephanie was with him in the car?
The whole storyline is complete fucking garbage that would have been canceled on primetime TV on ABC. I mean, seriously, only in wrestling can the writers get away with this without losing their jobs or without the show being canceled. It's just so bad. It doesn't make any sense. And Kevin Owens, he wears basically a girdle, a fucking spandex outfit under his clothes because he's so fat. And then he wears a loose t-shirt and loose gym shorts, and he wears the whatever on his legs to cover up. He's got skinny legs and he's fucking fat. No muscle. And look, I'm not saying that just to knock him, because I think he is a great promo. And he does some things really well, but he has no airport appeal. He doesn't have a star look. He's pretty good in the ring, and he's pretty good on the mic. I mean, and that's not what you would describe a top guy as. That's what you would describe a mid-card guy as.
But
upper mid-card.
Yeah. Well, now what's the difference between him and Seth Rollins? Because Seth could draw more than Kevin can,
Yeah, I mean, I just, I think it doesn't really matter who they give the title to, I guess, because ratings suck. They're not trying to expand their audience, and The Smarks will just chant, "You deserve it," and everyone will stroke each other off. But at the end of the day, it's not going to move business. The needle is not moving, and that's a big test. It's nothing great.
Well,
and I just don't think he's a main eventer.
During the cruiserweight match, there was a "go away" chant.
These fans are the worst. They're the worst. It's these goddamn NXT Smarks. They're the worst. They're fucking helping WWE kill wrestling.
See, I can't go with kill wrestling because I think wrestling's always going to be around. It's lasted for this long. But I tell you one thing, and that's that if it continues, we might not see Raw on the USA Network anymore. You know what I mean? They could be destined for like Spike TV, CW, things of that
Pop
nature.
TV.
That pop. What was the other one that they were on before Pop TV?
The
Discovery show.
What was that? American USA America?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
The Armed Forces Network.
Destination America. Destination America, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god,
that's it.
See, when you can't even name it, that's a problem. That is a branding and marketing problem.
Yeah, they were trying to find their final destination.
Yeah. Well, I think they're about to find it.
Yeah, really. All right, so on to SmackDown. Another great show from top to bottom. I normally only have like one critique of the show a week, and this time it was Bray and Randy, and I'm not like hating on it because I think it was a little corny at times, but you know what? I thought it was well written. Bray is always a solid promo, despite what the officials think of him, because they're all fucking idiots. None of it's gonna matter because Bray's gonna lose, and all of his words so far will mean absolutely shit. That's the only problem. If Bray was believable, would this actually mean something? Because Orton's a veteran, a well-respected future Hall of Famer. Bray is a low-class jobber piece of trash that talks way too much. And it shouldn't be that way. This feud has so much fucking potential if Vince and the Machine would have booked Bray the right way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Faith that they'll do the right thing here, but I think they've got to have Bray go over here. There can be no exceptions. He's got to go over. And we've said that for years. He needs to go over. He needs to win this match, and he never does. So I have no faith he will, but they could really turn things up, and Randy could be the angry Randy who does the punt kick and tries to kill you. And, Bray with his mind games and, the amateur horror stuff. I thought it was kind of cool because it was something cool. It was something different, right? It was not in the ring, and it was different. And Jesus Christ, if you like it or you didn't, you have to at least say, at least someone on one of these goddamn WWE shows tried something different for once.
I know. Well, SmackDown's doing that. They're characters. I mean, it's hard to believe, isn't it? But they're actual characters. Like you have those two. You have Becky and Alexa. You have Nikki. Fucking Carmella has a character, and 98% of the roster on Raw doesn't know what the fuck they are. I mean, come on.
Yep.
But yeah, Bray and Randy were Bray and Randy. They did well. The Usos are getting pushed to the moon, and they're actually finding themselves. Talk about a revelation, honestly. They were the most stale act in wrestling for most of the last 5 years. Okay,
how many fans were so sick of them? I mean, seriously, Jesus, they were just so bad there at the end stretch of their face run. And the characters, they were just terrible. Man, what a difference it makes with a little bit of a change up with the Usos being heels. This is a clear, natural fit.
Yep.
They're exciting again. They're badass. And they have revitalized this tag team division on SmackDown.
Easy because you already have the top two babyface tag teams, Alpha and Rhino and Heath Slater. You needed a good heel. Ascension wasn't going to cut it. I don't even know another tag team there. I don't know where the hype bros are. Then they're hyping somewhere. So the Usos were the best fit, and they've really knocked it out of the park. They really have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the women. I mean, the women have a direction at least. Alexa came out, kicked Becky's ass again on the ramp, saying, "You don't deserve this title, I do. You know, I'm going to beat you at No Mercy." And then Nikki, Carmella, Natty, and Naomi had their tag team, which was a decent match. All of them have a direction. All of them have a purpose in what they do. Carmella and Nikki Bella's good because you have believable characters. Carmella is a cheap shot bitch that will come at you from behind. Nikki's that upstanding veteran who's going to do all the right things, natural babyface. At least for right now, that's working for me. I don't fast forward.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No, I don't either. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I think the women, it's not even close. I mean, Raw power for the women, and SmackDown is absolutely putting on better segments with the women and doing more with the women every single week.
And I mean, yeah, Ryan Ward might, kind of have a crush on all of them, and maybe he's asked them out and he's gotten denied, but he's still putting up a good product.
Yeah, probably jacking off as he writes the script.
We didn't see Jack Swagger this week. I was kind of upset. We also didn't see Baron Corbin. Now, I have it was a lot of Bray and Randy heavy this week, which I understand why. But talk about Baron Corbin. You're a golden boy. And I'm not even making fun of you this week. I'm being very sincere this time. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, so let me just say there was a lot of Bray and Randy, and that was fine because what I liked about it was a hook throughout the show. Yeah. So it kept you watching throughout the show to see what was going to happen next. So I like that. That's a concept that Vince Russo used every week on Raw in the Attitude Era. But Baron Corbin, let me get to that, who is one of my two favorite active wrestlers. I was worked into a shoot, you could say, this past week. I was raging fucking mad, actually. You've got a show, 2-hour show, and you mean to tell me you can't find room for a Baron Corbin squash match? Oh, no, you did. You put it on main event, and Kane squashed him. 9-year-old who can barely walk at the end of his career, about to retire, went on their C show main event and beat the guy that they've been building up as a rising star for months. With no story, no explanation, no follow-up. Are you fucking kidding me? This was more of the same old dumb shit from those dumb fucks at the WWE creative team. So, fuck you guys. Back to you, John.
I actually agree 100%. Do you even think that they're going to acknowledge the Kane? No, they're not. Why would they do that? They're not going to acknowledge that shit. It's ridiculous. That's all right. You can take a breather.
Stupid son of a bitches.
Oh, man. And above all else, the Miz and Dolph fucking Ziggler, best writing in wrestling, the best feud in wrestling. I don't know what to say. Because that is just so, you know what? I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'll read my own tweets and put myself over because you know what? I think my tweets now that I don't cover wrestling full time anymore have gotten a lot better because I'm not worried about pissing people off that I might work for. Because
I would agree.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, fuck everybody, right? So I was watching SmackDown. I saw the Ziggler and Oh well, I have a Wyatt tweet too. I watched the Ziggler and Miz segment, and I saw this. But first, the Bray Wyatt tweet. I said, "Imagine if Wyatt actually won matches, titles, or feuds. Imagine how sensational and marketable he'd be." That's true, 100%. We kind of talked about it earlier, but my tweets about Ziggler and Miz. Here we go. Raw stars and officials should be jealous at how good SmackDown Live is. They should also be jealous at how good The Miz and Ziggler are. Ziggler and The Miz are on another level. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can match their feud on Raw. Not even close.
No, I mean, I don't think there's anything better than it on Raw. I mean, Raw would love to have a secondary title feud or interest in their secondary title like The Miz brings to SmackDown. I mean, that U.S. title is just who cares. But on SmackDown, it really does mean something. I mean, The Miz has taken it to another level. He's in the zone. This Intercontinental title reign is a big deal. He's finally winning matches, and he's putting on the best promos of his career. Mm-hmm. And the people are finally buying into The Miz. And it's great. I love it because I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I've always seen that, and it's great to see it coming to fruition. And Ziggler's doing some of his best work. He can't help that he has like a helium voice, but man, he's doing some of his best work right now, and this is good stuff, and I think it's going to lead to Ziggler, eventually coming back or being heel or something. I don't think he's going to win, so.
No,
I love The Miz. Great stuff.
Well, like, what a fucking promo, dude, by Ziggler. I mean, by both of them. It was unbelievable. It truly was. You had raw emotion. No pun intended, because Raw sucks. No, it was raw emotion coming from their two voices. It sounded like they're taking acting classes, apparently. But, like, it's how Miz's voice when he said, "Oh, really? Your career versus my title." And it was Ziggler like said, "That's all I have left," It was just, it's so unbelievable. And that's what wrestling's supposed to be. They're not going to put on a 5-star match. They might not even put on a 4-star match, according to fucking Meltzer cunt. But they're gonna put on a fucking story in the ring. Secondary.
Well, it's gonna be. You're absolutely right. But that's why it's gonna be 5 stars, because you got 2 characters. You got to build up for a match where you want to see the fight, and then you're gonna see the fight, and there's gonna be stakes on the line in the fight. So it's not just about the fucking 5-star match in ring work. It's about a whole story that encompasses everything, including but not limited to the in-ring work. And that's why I want to see.
I'm going to name 3 matches that were I don't think they were given 5 stars, and if they were, I'm not sure how. It might have been a mistake in the writing. I'm going to give you 3 matches. CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Were any 3 of them 5-star matches purely on in-ring technician? No. Why were they 5-star matches, Brad?
Storytelling, raw emotion. That's what wrestling's about. Wrestling is about bringing in fans' emotions and getting them to invest in characters and stories and a particular talent winning. That's what it's about. And that's when wrestling has always been at its best. Not when there's just a 5-star match and it means nothing. I mean, you look at Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. They had a hell of an in-ring match at WrestleMania 3. But, by the way, they actually had a hell of a story, too. Mm-hmm. So it meant something. You got to have all the elements.
Yeah, let's talk about NXT, right? Very briefly. When Bayley won the title, why was it so good? That match was great against Sasha, don't get me wrong. But the build-up was awesome. Like, Bayley could never win the big one. She couldn't hang with the big girls at the lunch table. The Charlotte, the Sashas, the Beckys. She couldn't hang because she kept losing when it mattered, right? And she finally won. She finally won. And that's what made it great. Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship. And NXT R Evolution. My favorite show since Money in the Bank 2011. Zayn lost title match after title match for 2 years and finally won. What a fucking moment. You know?
Yeah.
There's just no moments like that anymore. What happened to them?
No, there isn't any moments. Everything's, prostituted out.
And we're gonna get the same reaction that we're thinking that we're going to get for Styles, Cena, and Ambrose, who all three are intertwined in this triangle of fascination, and it's working. When Cena was on commentary for the Ambrose Styles match, that's when it works. That's when you want someone at commentary. So we talk about talk about the feud in general. And that match, Styles and Ambrose had a great match, right? And Cena's involvement was well timed and logical. It just worked. Those three guys are killing it in the main event. Fuck Raw's main event. They don't draw shit, right? But the SmackDown main event, they don't. SmackDown's main event is killing it.
It was great. I thought it was a great match. I thought even the ending was great. I loved everything about it. And Dave Meltzer basically was like, it was a good match, but I saw a couple matches in New Japan that were better. So, yeah.
Oh, he can kiss my taint. For fuck's sake. What does he want? What does he want? Does he give Hogan and Andre 2.5 stars?
Yeah, probably 1 star. But
but it's just talk more.
Hogan and Andre is a 5-star match. It is. It's a 5-star match. It's not a 5-star match because there's 20 flippity doos. It's because it tells the ultimate story in the ring and out of the ring leading up to the match. And this was another excellent match. I think AJ and Dean have great chemistry in the ring. I think every time they've been in there, they have had excellent matches, and I've loved them. This was an excellent main event, and it blew anything Raw has done recently out of the water. I love the way they're doing this. This is my favorite story. This is my favorite feud in WWE right now. These three guys together. And I would say, Miz and Dolph Ziggler are second. I mean, the stuff they're doing is great, especially the Miz. But this stuff is just it's phenomenal. It really is, no pun intended, phenomenal. They're going to have an outstanding match at No Mercy.
And you just said it. There's the difference. We want to see No Mercy for the culmination of fantastic storylines taking place. We're going to see if Ziggler can finally get the Intercontinental title and beat the Miz's streak and save his career. We're going to see if Cena can get that 16th title or if Dean can win it back after getting cheated out of it and stealing it. We're going to see if AJ Styles is legit, right? We're going to see if Becky Lynch can keep her word true and tell everyone why she belongs in the main event of the women's division on SmackDown. We're gonna find out why the Usos, with just a little personality change, can kick ass and dominate. And maybe if Rhino and Heath Slater are a fluke. There are payoffs. There's a reason to watch. Raw gives me no reason to watch. None.
No, and they did a good job of building to No Mercy on the show too, which was the whole point. That's what you should be doing. And so now I actually want to see No Mercy. Like I want to see what the outcomes are going to be. I want to see the stories they tell. Imagine that.
I do too. No Mercy is on October 9th. So we still have one more week of SmackDown. We still have one more week for the go home. I think if it's built this
and you know what? I think they should.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think let's add an extra element to it. You know what I would do on SmackDown on the Go Home show? I would have Ric Flair involved in the main event. Not physically, but interview Ric Flair about how he feels about John Cena breaking his record. And on the pay-per-view, have Ric Flair sitting front row seat as we focus on part of the story being Ric Flair's record.
Yeah. It'd be great. And I even forgot, we're also going to see Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. Can Bray back up his words? And the story's been written so well, beautifully, beautiful writing. They just need to make it pay off. Bray has to win. But no, SmackDown is killing it. And one more question before we sign off here. we all know Vince McMahon has the final say in literally everything that goes on, from the marketing, from the TV revenue, from the advertisements, from the WWE shop, to the on-air product, to who's pushed, who's not, blah, 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 blah. Why is SmackDown the way it is and Raw the way it is? Because here's my common sense thinking coming in. If Raw is your premier show, your flagship program, why is SmackDown clearly so much better, more hyped, more anticipated? And it's booked differently. Why is that? Why is Vince letting SmackDown things happen on SmackDown and bullshit happen on Monday nights?
It's a good question. I don't know if he's just letting them do their own thing and letting them compete. It's hard to know without knowing the process, how things are kind of mapped out as to what they do and how they approve it for sure. But it's such a different show. I mean, it's not even close. SmackDown is 100% a better pro wrestling show.
Easy.
And if you think Raw is better, you have never seen a good pro wrestling show. And I think it's just that simple. So, yeah, I don't know what the difference is, but it's clear that one is better than the other. One is doing some of the basics that have always worked in the history of wrestling, and one is just putting forth a minimal effort of repeating the same old shit. Promos or constant rematches or the same old stuff.
So what was the Raw rating on Monday? Do you know it?
It was the second lowest of all time.
It was.
It was low. It was a 1 point something. I mean, SmackDown didn't beat it. It was fairly close, but it was disappointing. I think you've got to get the audience to watching SmackDown because it's 2 hours and it's such a better show that it's no brainer.
So this is according to 411 Mania, and I'll read some of this before we go. SmackDown saw minor rises in both ratings and viewership this week, though it wasn't enough to overtake Raw like some believed it could. Tuesday's episode brought in a 0.74 rating and 2.34 million viewers, up 1% and 2% from last week's 0.73 demo and 2.292 million viewers. That's in the 18 to 49 male demographic, by the way. The numbers are still below all the previous airings since the show moved to airing live on USA and was close to, but still below, Raw's 0.83 and 2.478. They're getting closer every week in that 18 to 49, which is their main demo, whether they want to believe it or not. The kids aren't. Fuck that. 18 to 49 is adults. SmackDown's one fucking step away from beating them at their own game.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, of course, we've talked, is so puzzling because they essentially write Raw for a child, and average Raw viewer is about 40 years old, according to the data. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it just doesn't make any sense. And they put it on 8 to 11. When children on a Monday night are generally going to be in bed, late.
By 9:30.
They're going to be asleep. I mean, come on. So it just doesn't make any sense. That is their main demographic, even though they don't write towards it. And it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they're getting close. And man, I really do hope that they pass them soon. I really do. We'll see.
We certainly will. I honestly don't think it'll be. You know what? I'll make a bold prediction. Next week they're going to beat Raw in the ratings. I really think that. So we'll find out. We'll certainly find out. And if pay-per-view numbers ever come in, guarantee you, No Mercy does way better than whatever the fuck Raw puts on. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm just not excited about anything in the Raw main event picture. I mean, Seth Rollins has been fairly boring as a top guy. Kevin Owens, I think, has been boring as a top guy. Roman Reigns doesn't really seem to be a top guy right now as a face. What else do you have? I mean,
nobody.
Brock Lesnar's not around.
No, Jericho's your top face.
Yeah, Jericho's going to end up facing Kevin Owens for the title. We know that.
Yeah,
Jericho and Owens for the title, and I think Jericho will leave the company for a while.
Yeah, I do
after
too.
he loses. And I'm hearing that Bill Goldberg will be returning to the ring fairly soon, maybe Survivor Series. I don't know.
Well, that'll draw some attention for 2 weeks, and then
especially when you find out. I'm hearing the rumor is, and this is definitely not confirmed, that they would like to do Goldberg and Lesnar.
Oh, good. Is Stone Cold going to be the ref?
Yeah, they might as well just call it WrestleMania, whatever it was, and just
20. 20. It was WrestleMania 20. I'll never forget it. But wow. Okay, great. Good for them. They'll get their Goldberg. SmackDown will still kill it, and the better show will win out until Vince gets jealous and just blows up SmackDown, completely blows it up. Until that happens, everyone, I really recommend appreciate SmackDown Live for what it is right now. Appreciate it, because it will not be around anytime soon. That is a promise from me, with so much disdain in my mouth. But for all that, Brad, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at the VOTV podcast on Twitter machine. Up over 1,300 followers now. Thank you very much.
Hey.
And we'll talk wrestling. Don't be shy. I'm nice sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. You'll just have to deal with it.
And deal with it, I always do. You can find me at John Fish Gaming on Twitter, Wrestling News Hub on Facebook, and twitch.tv/JohnFish3 over there. Anything else before we go? We'll be going over the go home of SmackDown next week, so it's going to be a good show. Raw, I can't say the same.
Dicks out for Harambe.
Always and forever. We'll see you next week.